Good afternoon, everyone from the city of Halifax here in Nova Scotia, Canada. I'd like to thank you today for joining our online information session. Today we have a very interesting topic. It's CELPIP or IELTS, which is right for you. Again, my name is Wisdom Akpakige. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant that's duly registered with the College of Immigration and Citizenship consultants here in Canada. This is the regulatory body here in Canada. I'm also registered with CEPIC, which is Canadian Association of Professional Immigration Consultants. I am also a licensed foreign worker recruiter, and I'm licensed to practice in the provinces of Nova Scotia and Saskatchewan. If you look at the screen, you'll see IMED, the Immigration Education Alliance. I'm also a member of that, and my credentials are displayed on the screen. I am the principal consultant with Dow Immigration Consulting Services Limited, located here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. And once again, I'd like to thank you for taking out time from your busy schedule to attend the information session today. Without further ado, I will jump right into what we have today. I know a lot of persons have been asking, okay, now we have CELPIP and IELTS. Which should I take? Which is better for me? I mean, we have two options now. So today we're not necessarily looking at which of the tests is better, because I think the tests are two different tests that's administered by two different set of persons or organizations. So we're not necessarily trying to check which is better than which. We're just trying to explain the two test formats for you, and then you can see which one you think is right for you. I will start with CELPIP. CELPIP, this is a Canadian English Language Proficiency Index program. That is, CELPIP is an acronym of the Canadian English Language Proficiency Index program. And it is an English language assessment tool which measures listening, reading, writing, and speaking skills. So many times you need to demonstrate language proficiency, either you're trying to immigrate to Canada, or many other things that this will be applicable for. And we would get into that much later. So the CELPIP test is offered in two versions. We have the CELPIP General and the CELPIP General LS. The CELPIP General is suitable for people who need to demonstrate English language proficiency to immigrate to Canada. So the CELPIP, from the name Canadian English Language Proficiency Index Program, it is a Canadian test, and it is used to immigrate to Canada. And for also people that are already permanent residents in Canada that are looking to demonstrate language proficiency to become Canadian citizens, they can use the CELPIP General LS. Again, from the screen, is suitable for people who need to demonstrate English language proficiency for Canadian citizenship. CELPIP General test format. The test is completely computer delivered. So this now you begin to note some of the differences here. This is completely computer delivered and consists of 4 sections: the listening, reading, and writing and speaking. So these are the 4 sections. The listening component is composed of 8 parts, but only 7 parts would usually be given during the test. The test taker will not be informed which part is to be omitted. So you go in there and then you see that one of the 8 parts has been omitted. You don't have that information before you log in to the test. The total length of all 4 sections is 180 minutes. And as you can see, that's 3 hours. This is just a quick breakdown of the different test components and what you should expect. For the listening, the total allotted time is 47 minutes, and it has different sections on this component. So there's the practice test that will give you two questions just to practice. And then the part 1, listening and problem solving, would have 8 questions. 5 questions for part 2, 6 questions for part 3, 5 questions for part 4, 8 for part 5, 6 for part 6, 5 to 8 questions for part 7. Again, like we said, we don't know which of these parts. Oh no, this is part 7, and it may contain some unscored items. The reading, again, just to give you a bit of background, most of these tests, they put in some questions just to test the response of clients. So you're not necessarily scored, but it is just like a feedback to the to those that administer the test, so they know that, okay, this question is good to be used. They usually do that for QA reasons. So they test it for a while before it becomes a live question. So you'd see that common in most of the components. Reading is total time of 60 minutes. Part 1, 11 questions, and that'll be reading, correspondence. And part 2, 8 questions. Part 3, 9 questions. Part 4, 10 questions. There's also the unscored item, which would be 8 to 11 questions. There's the writing. So the writing has 2 components, sections in this component. Task 1 is writing an email, and it has just 1 question. And task 2 is responding to a survey question. Speaking, total of 20 minutes. And it's broken down into the following components. There's a 1 question practice, just for you to get yourself familiar with what this section is about. There's task 1, giving advice, and we have 1 question. Basically, I have 1 question each of these components. We have task 2, task 3, task 4, task 5, task 6, task 7, and task 8. And each of them has one question each. Now, a quick look at the CELPIP General LS. LS is just an acronym for listening and speaking. So it just tells you that this CELPIP General test only has listening and speaking component. So the test is also computer-based and made up of 2 sections, the listening and the speaking. The listening component is composed of 8 listening parts, but only 7 parts will be given during the test, just as with the case with the general one. The total length of all 2 sections is approximately 67 minutes. And this is a breakdown of the sections in the various components, the time allotted, and the number of questions in each of these components. Feel free to take a picture, or just take a note of whatever you might find interesting in this slide. We're going to make progress here. In terms of the scoring for CELPIP, many times you want, especially for those people that are looking to immigrate to Canada, they are looking for a particular CLB. A CLB means Canadian Language Benchmarks. Now, that's what you would see in the requirements for this, for your immigration or whatever you need this for. Now, the good thing with CELPIP is whatever score you get in the exam gives you the CLB level directly, so you don't have to do any conversion, right? When we get to IELTS, you would see that your score in the different bands or components are not directly related or are not the same as the CLB level. So you can see from here, the format and scoring of CELPIP tests, CELPIP General test and the CELPIP General LS test are referenced to the Canadian language benchmark, CLB. Below are the proficiency score levels and CLB equivalent. So you can see from levels 1, 0, 1, 2, which would be M, minimal proficiency level, and then level 3, 4, 5, 6, up until 12. And those are direct figures as the CLB level to the right of the screen. So whatever you get for CELPIP, that is your CLB level for that component. The IELTS, on the other hand, it is the International English Language Testing System. And it is an international standardized test of English language proficiency for non-native English language speakers. It is jointly managed and administered by the British Council, IELTS Australia, and Cambridge Assessment English. IELTS is accepted worldwide by most Australian, British, Canadian, European, US, Irish, and New Zealand academic institutions and by various professional organizations. Now, it will be good for us to quickly say this. IELTS has two formats. IELTS has the general test, which is equivalent to the CELPIP. Now, the CELPIP is administered by Prometric, and Prometric has the academic version, which is not called CELPIP, but it is called CAL. Now, CAL, we're not going to be talking about CAL today. We're only going to be talking about CELPIP. So CELPIP is the general version of the test, not the academic version. So again, IELTS has two versions, the academic and the general. So we're going to be comparing CELPIP with the IELTS general in this whole information session. I just thought to let you know that. The IELTS test format. The 4 parts of the IELTS test includes listening, reading, writing, speaking. So listening 30 minutes, reading 60 minutes, writing 60 minutes, speaking 11 to 14 minutes. The total test time is 2 hours 45 minutes. So you can see slightly less than what you would have on the CELPIP. Listening, reading, and writing are completed in one sitting. The speaking test may be taken on the same day or up to 7 days before or after the other test. So this is something that's also important. So the IELTS, you don't take the 4 tests in a sitting, but the CELPIP, you take the 4 tests in a sitting. You can take the speaking up to 7 days. That means you can write the 3 other tests today, and 7 days from today, you come back and do the speaking, or 7 days before today, you can come to do your speaking ahead of your the other 3 components. For the listening, the module comprises 4 sections with 10 questions in each section. It takes 40 minutes, 30 for testing, plus 10 for transferring the answers to an answer sheet, especially if you're doing the paper-based. Section 1 and 2 would be everyday social situations that you listen to. Section 1, conversation between 2 speakers. Section 2, 1 person speaking. Sections 3 and 4 will be educational and training institutions. Section 3, conversation between 2 main speakers. Section 4, 1 person speaking about an academic subject. Okay, and that is the listening. If you go over to the speaking test is a face-to-face interview between the test taker and an examiner. The speaking test contains 3 sections. Now, the difference between the IELTS and the CELPIP is, for the IELTS, you're going to sit in front of someone to do the speaking. But for the CELPIP, you're not going to sit in front of someone. You're just going to speak to your computer and record it, and then that would be scored. Some people say they have phobia when someone is looking at them, when they are doing their speaking. So they'll feel more comfortable speaking to their computer without anybody looking at them. Some people think, oh, when you're speaking to someone, you see the person's facial expression, it can affect you. Oh, the person did somehow, and in your mind, you're like, oh, I didn't get that question well. Or, I mean, these are trained people. They're obviously not going to do that in IELTS, but sometimes just looking at people, you can begin to form images in your head that this person is not impressed with what I am doing or taking. And that can begin to affect you. Some people looking at the screen also affects them. They would rather, I mean, sit in front of someone, and if they're doing well, the person is smiling, and then that sort of encourages them rather than looking at an emotionless computer in front of them. Anyways, so that's something to consider if you're trying to make up your mind on which of the tests to take. So section 1 for speaking IELTS, introduction and interview. Section 2, long term, 3 to 4 minutes. Test takers are given a task card about a particular topic, and you're supposed to speak for the time that is allotted for that topic. Section 3, discussions, 4 to 5 minutes, involves a discussion between the examiner and the test taker. So you have like a short conversation with the examiner there. Reading. The reading paper has 3 sections and text which have to be 2,150 to 2,750 words. There are a variety of question types, such as multiple choice, short answer questions, identifying information, labeling, diagrams, completing a summary. Beg your pardon, hold on. Okay, there are a variety of questions, like I said, and then again, this is just a note of warning. Be careful when writing down answers or marks. Or marks will be lost for incorrect spelling and grammar. Three reading texts, which come from books, journals, magazines, newspapers, and online sources. Writing. The writing paper has 2 tasks, which must both be completed. In task 1, test takers write at least 150 words in about 20 minutes and describe a diagram in their own words. In task 2, test takers write at least 250 words in about 40 minutes and discuss a point of view, argument, or problem. Test takers will be penalized if the answer is too short or does not relate to the topic. Test takers must not use notes or bullet points. Writing. The writing paper has 2 tasks, which must both be completed. In task 1, test takers write at least 150 words. Okay, I think we've done writing before. Okay, I don't know why the slide got repeated there. So proficiency score level and their CLB equivalent. Okay, so this is what I was trying to explain when I said, so your score does not directly, will not directly reflect your CLB score. You have to convert it for IELTS. So for reading, if you score 8.0, that will be a CLB 10. If you score 7.0, it will be CLB 9. If you score 6.5, it will be CLB 8. If you score 6.0, it will be CLB 7. And that follows through for other components of the test. So if you want to take a picture of this slide, you're more than welcome to take a picture so that you can always convert your IELTS score with your CLB. Now, this table gives us a comparison between IELTS and CELPIP, so you can see how things vary between the tests. For reading, IELTS uses a wide range of subjects and complex vocabulary. CELPIP, the topic and vocabulary is simple. Questions are multiple choice and straightforward. Writing, it must be handwritten, so students must pay attention to their grammar and spelling. I think also we have the computer-based test, which you can also type on the computer if you want. Computer-based, easy to use, word count and timing available, so you can see your word count on the CELPIP. Speaking, uses a British, Australian, and American English accent, and you speak face-to-face to the speaking is face-to-face interaction. Whereas the CELPIP uses Canadian English accent, able to adjust the volume, speaking, submitting voice recording. So you speak to your computer and it's recorded, and then they score you. Now for the prizes, the price varies across locations, so it depends on where you are. So what I've done is I've shown you the price to take the test in Halifax, in Nova Scotia, where we are, just to give you a bit of a sense on what it costs to take the two tests. So I'll encourage you to check with your location where, what amount it is. But in Halifax, it costs 340 Canadian dollars to register for the IELTS, and 280 Canadian dollars to register for CELPIP. Again, timing, we said before, IELTS is, well, just under 3 hours, I believe, 2 hours, 45 minutes to 3 hours. And then the CELPIP is 3 hours exam. And it is done in one sitting, which some people find better, so you know you're done with it once and for all. For preparation, we have more preparation materials available. IELTS, you can get preparation materials online, easy to catch and all of that. Also for CELPIP, you have prep courses and materials also available online. This is all we have for today. We will take some questions, and if you have any questions, I'll just encourage you to type in the chat box, and then we can begin to take the questions for today. Once again, I'd like to thank you for your time, taking our time to attend this information session today. I hope this has been really informative for you, and it has helped you to make that choice between the two tests. Again, like I mentioned earlier, we're not really here to say which is better than which. We're just here to show you the different components of the two tests, so that you can make up your mind which one you find better, or which one you like better to take, and which one suits your purpose. Because you may not want, you may be wanting to come to Canada, you may want to immigrate to Canada. In this instance, you have the option of doing either of both tests. But if you need it for something else, then maybe one is more suitable than the other. So once again, thank you very much for your time. You can always reach us at any time on phone. Our phone number is +1 902 8020 512. We're also available on WhatsApp. So if you want to take a screenshot of this screen, so that you can get our information. Our email contact is info@dowimmigration.com, our website www.dowimmigration.com. And you can also follow us across all our social media handle at Dow Immigration. We're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, and we're on Instagram. I mean, you will get lots of information following us online. Again, I'd like to thank you for taking our time to attend today's session, and I'll say stay safe until we come your way again. When we are ready for the next information section, we'll share and distribute that across all our social media handles, and you'll be informed, and then you can join and participate. Thank you very much for your time, and have a great day. Thank you.